When a seed is planted, you never fully know if the seed will wither and die, or in fact flourish and grow. Certain things are required for this lonely sprout to succeed, making the difference between a vibrant beauty and a forgotten weed. Knowing the difficulties which lie ahead, we have a choice to make. Will your roots grow strong, or show the world you're truly a fake? So many trees already are hollow and barren, with no life in their core, appearing to be gorgeous and full, when all the while they're starving for more. Grow away from those who let themselves be easily swayed, for they are those who will never let themselves be saved. Trapped in their own web of lies and dreams made of glass, hiding behind false idols, refusing to take off their masks. The sadness comes from knowing how easy it is to be set free, and when the masks are off, how painfully clear it is for us each to see. So I say to you, before your first leaf does spread, make sure that it is by your heart and not another which you are led. I wrote that poem when I was 15 years old. Thank you for listening. So today I'm going to be talking about autistic burnouts and also shutdowns. As you may or may not be able to tell just by looking at me, I myself have been going through a burnout. Basically, burnouts happen when too much is going on, to put it as simply as possible, but it's so much deeper than that. Like I mentioned in my last video on meltdowns, a burnout is not like when you have too much stimulus going on, which leads to the short-term situation and event of a meltdown. A burnout is a longer-term thing, and that varies in time depending on the person. Experience allows us to grow and to be better at mitigating these negative effects. However, these events are not going to stop happening, but we can grow to be stronger during them, make them happen less frequently, and make the impact when they do happen less, to a degree. There's only so much we can control, and that's super important for me to preventing burnouts and shutdowns, is being forgiving and loving to myself and treating myself like my own best friend. There, surprisingly or not, is not enough literature, and up until recently none at all, about autistic burnout, and all of the information, as usual, is coming from the community of outspoken autistics and this movement of autistics to create this information for others to be able to have and to understand for themselves. I've dealt with burnouts and shutdowns my entire life. I've been in therapy my entire life, since I was 4 years old. What I was told and what my parents were told often is, and what is told to many autistics and others, that, oh, they're going through a regression, they're regressing. Regressing means that you're losing a skill, or, I'm not losing that skill, and I'm not regressing in the sense that I'm not losing something. I just don't have the energy and ability to draw up those skills to be able to make that happen any longer. When my energy gets low like this, my executive function begins to go out the window. When I am forced to go beyond what I can bear and mask and am pushed and not allowed to ask questions and be open and feel safe, and my ability to communicate and convey my own emotions about situations, when I feel trapped, and when that continues to happen over a period of time, and I have to eat all of this pressure and internalize everything, and I'm not able to vent, and in my daily actions, if I'm not able to stim, this definitely leads to burnout for me. When I put too much pressure on myself, for work or something, this is why it's so important to be your own best friend. When I was a chef, I used to put so much pressure on myself and was just constantly operating at 150 beats per minute, and just so stressed out of my mind. Because my mind was firing all the time. But and that's the thing, is if you're autistic, your brain is probably firing all the time like mine. So what's really important to also prevent burnout is a sensory diet. Going outside into my garden is so significant and plays a huge role in my life during the summertime and the springtime. I have seasonal hobbies and passions that I really can pour myself into that are not involving a computer screen or a video game or a TV. The last thing that I watched on TV was Squid Game, and then just recently The Boys. I am a UFC fan, but I'm not a TV watcher. But for me, I am a digital artist, and I'm sitting in front of, a supercomputer and a graphics tablet and all this fun digital art stuff and creating animations. But for me, mostly my burnouts happen from extrinsic factors. External factors in my environment, usually people, and that I have to mask for a prolonged time, and I'm just never allowed to be myself. That's when a burnout and a shutdown, happens for me in my current stage of life. So, but in the past, it could have been too much pressure for school, and it was social situations, and having to constantly put on and I was not class clown, but I was most sarcastic in my high school yearbook, so senior year. So I always thought that was the smart class clown, so I was always okay with being most sarcastic. The point is I masked like an Olympic masking athlete representing Team Autism USA. Because I tested as an extrovert every single time, an ESFP in high school, because that's what I was acting like. I was doing my best to adapt to high school, which is of course a crazy situation. So that led to burnouts, and I would just shut down and be very quiet and wouldn't even want to listen to music, and I would just shut down, isolate and not talk to anyone, and self-harm and not eat even for, that day. I do have the diagnosis of avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. I've had an eating disorder my entire life, but this is tied into the shutting down of the executive function of the brain when burnout happens, is the lack of motivation and physical, ability to eat or to go and do these simple tasks, because when I go into the refrigerator and I am at night, I look into the fridge and it's just all of these containers, and that's why I'm a big fan of labeling things, actually, is to prevent this, because it's just overwhelming when you open up the refrigerator, and I personally don't even want to eat in the first place, but I have to, so I have to assess the situation and put this jigsaw together to be able to make a dish, even though I'm a chef, so that is much easier for me than others in this situation. But at the same time, if you don't want to eat and you're looking at stuff like it's all gross, it doesn't make it easier if I'm a chef or not, because it still is something that I have to endeavor to achieve, and just a simple task of eating and putting together a meal. I don't shave when I go into burnout and shut down, because I don't care. I don't care what I look like. That's the least of my concerns. In my mind, my world is working so hard against me and doing everything it can to stop me from being successful in my mind, and that's how it feels, that shaving is the last thing I care about. Showering, don't care. Eating, don't care. Drinking water, don't care. And these are the things that are very important to not happen. And so masking goes out the door, and that becomes extremely difficult to mask while in a burnout. So what I normally do is go quiet and just don't talk at all, because I just do not have the energy to cater to someone's needs, and those needs are me not being able to be myself. And by be myself, I don't mean like be depressed or like be super negative to that or anything. I just mean I need to be able to talk just about anything. It doesn't have to be about what I'm worried about. Just, you need to be able to communicate with others, and I need to be able to stim, and I need to be able to have a quiet place to retreat to. So when is just constant music around me that I'm not in control of, or loud TV. Maybe there's a neighbor has construction going on and I'm not in control of that. So it's really important to focus on what we can control, and what we can control that I use every day to help me stop burnouts. For a while now, I've been under a lot of external environmental stresses. So I've had to reach into my own arsenal of all the stuff that I'm telling you and to utilize fiercely to preserve myself and to keep loving myself the way that I deserve to be loved and the way that you deserve to be loved. I've really used cold showers. I will start the morning with a warm shower, and then for the last minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, I'll turn it on to cold, and I will just sing and dance in the shower and stim and bring 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 and just have fun and do whatever I need to do and sing and get that energy going, and know that I can just be able to express that. And the cold shower helps to regulate your blood and body temperature in your brain. It is very beneficial in the morning for your body as well, so cold showers, even no one likes being uncomfortable. However, life is uncomfortable, and the best things from life come from uncomfortable moments and persevering through those and growing so much that they become comfortable. It's a steady progression, and it takes commitment. It takes knowing that what you're doing, taking those 3 minutes of a cold shower, is doing something that's making you a better version of yourself and doing the best to keep your tank full and your engine strong. So I utilize alternate breathing through my nose and mouth, and nose breathing is much more important for you. Mouth breathing is very bad, so in general. But if you're practicing in through your nose, out through your mouth, out through your mouth, in through your nose, and doing iterations of that, that is fantastic. Your lungs are shaped like a tornado, so they go like this. And so you want to imagine in your mind at your belly button, starting the tornado and just going up like this and breathing in slowly and drawing deep breaths. And look up box breathing. Box breathing is something that I'm a huge fan of, and it's really important for me. And meditating and learning to quiet my thoughts is so important. I am always meditating. Meditation is different for everyone. So for me, I just focus on the here and now. I am lucky to live in the forest, so for me, I can go out and just listen to the birds and quiet my thoughts. My brain is like one of those bouncy balls at a drugstore where it's got that glitter inside of it and it's see-through, and you bounce it on the floor and the lights start flashing and the glitter starts swirling. My brain is like that all the time with the glitter swirling around. But when I focus on my breathing and I meditate, I'm able to pull up those thoughts like the glitter one at a time and focus on each piece of glitter and thought and see it for what it is and calm my anxiety and my blood pressure. So this is so important for me. Being a good gatekeeper and best friend to my thoughts. And what I mean by that is to treat yourself like your best friend or someone that you love very much. For neurotypical people, if they're having a stressful time at work, usually this can be solved just by going to the bar. They're like, man, I'm just upset with this one thing and it's just really affecting this one area of my life. So I'll go blow off some steam, do some golf, go to the bar, whatever it is, go to the movies, go on a vacation for the weekend, come back, it is what it is. You're better. It didn't affect your vacation. It didn't affect your golf swing. It didn't affect you from doing what you were trying to do. You were just burnt out with that situation. And you were able to solve it with relatively easy fixes. For me and autistic individuals, burnouts affect and permeate every area of your life. So like I said, my laundry piles up. I don't clean my room. I don't shower. I don't shave. I don't eat. I don't drink water. I don't go out for walks and walk my poor Chipper baby. So I do feel guilty enough for Chipper that I always make sure to throw the ball with him every day. So, but still, and that exactly adds to more stress because I have, I love doing art, and I love working on mental health videos and doing the things that I love to do, and I love walking Chipper every day. But when I don't take care, or I'm not able to take care of my mental health needs and my physical needs, in terms of being able to stim and openly communicate and be honest with those around me, and have the ability to have a safe space and quiet, and the ability to sleep and and cook, and do all these things that you need to do. And if you don't have good connections with friends and you're all alone, that definitely increases the likelihood and causes burnouts and shutdowns and meltdowns to happen. If you see an autistic person that is having frequent meltdowns, that's a sure sign that a long-term burnout is coming. And like I said in my last video on meltdowns, the best way to stop a meltdown is to prevent them from happening in the first place. Now, there's nothing that we can do to stop all meltdowns from happening. All we can do is mitigate their impact on us and lessen the length of time that they happen, and do all of the groundwork to make sure that we're set up for success in everything, from all of our daily tasks, from getting dressed to eating. I'm a huge fan of Tupperwares and meals. I when I was doing Food is My Weapon, I was doing all these Tupperware party different things for myself to work through eating multiple times a day, and to do it in a healthy way, and avoiding and working with textures and all that stuff. And the community part of it, like I just mentioned, is extremely important for me. Like I said in my video on high function versus low function autism, I get asked, well, how can you be having these problems? Look at all the stuff that you're doing. You seem fine. That's because I am a very strong person, and I love myself very much now. And that has taken over 31 years for me to be able to speak and convey myself the way that I am doing so now. I just have the ability to hide extremely well my crying out executive functioning brain. And I do that by masking and isolating. What I really need during those times is community, connection, love, friendship, and the ability to talk things out with people. I am so blessed to have the friends that I've met through Twitter and social media, YouTube and Instagram comments, looking at other autistic content creators on TikTok. Like, this is how information is now being spread. The same situation was true when I was studying to be in neuroscience in college. Doctors have always failed us and have not done any better since then. It has been overwhelmingly the community of us autistics speaking out and serving as a springboard for others to learn from and grow from, so that as many people as we can reach out to don't have to go through the same things that we have had to. Because that's the best gift that I can give, is redemptive pain, which is using the pain that I've been given to grow and learn from, to bring back to you, and to make your life a little easier and a little better, knowing that you're not alone, and that someone else out there is going through and feeling the same things that you are, and that you have a friend in me. So just like as in most things in life, time does heal all. There are things that you can do to prevent them, like I just mentioned, but there's also ways to lessen the time that a burnout lasts for, and a shutdown lasts for. The ways that I do it, like I said, are gardening and cold showers, going out for walks. I'm able to go out and go for a hike with my dog Chipper. It's great to call my family, talk to loved ones, read a book, get away from screens, and stim. For me, dancing and making my noises and just bringing about, and just doing that, releasing that energy, and just being my own best friend is so self-soothing. I have a piano. I love frisbee golf, disc golf. I love archery, and I've got painting, so I can get away from the graphics tablet and just go and paint. I love making jewelry. I haven't made jewelry in a long time, but that used to be my big passion just a couple years ago, and was just making jewelry all the time. So just the simple things of wrapping a ring or a necklace is incredibly soothing for me. I love going out and on hikes and looking at rocks.
And I'm a weird rock nerd, so
I live in a place where there's tons of awesome rocks to go and look at. So I'm lucky to have all these little passions. And if you're autistic and laughing with me, we've got so many things that we're interested in that we can go to. And if you're just interested in one thing, just go into that and do that. And just know that you are loved and you are enough no matter what. And everyone has to go through hard times and able to grow into the best version of themselves. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have a lifetime of burnouts and shutdowns and meltdowns. And I'm still here today and still stronger than ever. And I just want you to know that you can be too. And you are awesome. So if you know you're going into a situation where there's going to be a high sensory volume, there's going to be lots of lights and sounds and social interactions, make sure that you are aware of these things and you're forgiving of yourself and you're loving of yourself, and know that it's okay to be overwhelmed and to just breathe and go into your happy place, because everything is temporary. I'm here. Please comment, leave a message. If you have any questions, this is an interactive community, this YouTube channel, so thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to continue to bring knowledge, information, and be an edutainer. Art is my weapon is all about edutainment, so I try to be as educational and entertaining as possible, so please leave any feedback below. You are all awesome. You are loved. Thank you so much for being here. Stay spicy, and until next time, see ya.